Hello, friends. Welcome to Sacred Sassy Soulpreneur. I am your host, Kerrie Waring, a psychic medium and soul coach with over 25 years' experience in business. And I really want to share that Sacred Sassy Soulpreneur is where we spill the mystic tea on what it is to be operating a business. So if you are a psychic, a medium, a healing practitioner or an intuitive practitioner that really is in the space of expressing your soul in business and working towards creating a thriving business that actually financially supports you, then you are in the right space. So, a little bit about me and why I have brought the Sacred and Sassy Soulpreneur project to you. Now, this project exists as a publication on Substack. We have a community called the Sacred and Sassy Collective over on School. And I guess here you are listening to the podcast and its companion YouTube video. And I guess for me, I really sort of see a gap in the business coaching world because I know for me over the years, most of the business coaching that I've invested in all comes from mindset and strategy. And I know personally for us, we need more than that. If you are like me and you come from that deep place within your soul, then that is probably first and foremost. And really, it's the rare business coach that truly understands that and can factor that in for us. So I guess what I'm doing here is I'm really just sharing my story, my journey, bringing you some interviews from people that are just walking the path as you are. Yes, there may be some experts, but there will also be people that are right in the trenches with you, including myself. And I guess that's the biggest gap that I see is that we're truly missing that kind of support that is uniquely for the soulpreneur. And this is, I guess, the promise that I'm bringing you. So, and how that differentiates is so, for example, coming up, we are going to be the month of July is all about visibility, being safe to be seen, and not just about gaining confidence to show up on video. We are going to dig into the witch wound, for example. So, and that witch wound is all of us that were ridiculed, put to death in past lives because of who we truly are. And there is a transference, if you will, of that coming into this life. And it does still show up, that ridicule, that judgment, that where mainstream don't understand who we are. And sometimes that's our friends and family. So they're the kinds of things where we need support from our fellow soulpreneurs and from people like myself who have been walking this path for more than 2 decades. And I want to share that with you. I want to support that with you because we need your wisdom out in the world. You are here at this point for a reason. You are deepening your purpose and bringing that through into the world to help and support others. And you know what? I don't want you doing that alone. You don't need to be doing that alone. So let's support one another from that space of realness. And I guess this video is a little bit of an example of that. And this podcast is a little bit of an example of that. There's no I didn't come here with a hook or any marketing ploys. I'm just introducing what we're about and the realness and authenticity of that. I know for me that I am far more in my authentic self if I just show up and talk, as opposed to worrying about, oh, what's the marketing hook? Um, how do I need to say things? What do I need to do? So I'm not here doing that, apart from the fact that I'm spilling the mystic tea and having a cup of tea to do it. Peppermint tea, by the way. So I guess one of the things that I want to do is draw a card. And I'm using my own spirit guide wisdom cards, which were channeled back in 2005. And I guess I'm drawing a card, and my intention around that is for the Sacred and Sassy Soulpreneur community, and what it is we represent, embrace, what the journey is going to be about. And here I've just drawn the card, it's Angel. Divine protection. So for me, I know that this venture is supported by spirit, by the angels, and for all of those that come in and be part of this community, whether you follow us on Substack, whether you follow our podcast, we're all podcasts are found, whether you follow us on YouTube, whatever it might be, wherever your chosen platform is, know that you are part of that you and your work is being divinely protected if you are part of our, connected to our energy, connected to our community. And the active daily community is on school. It's called the Sacred and Sassy Collective. So what you will find here is really not just about business strategy. We are about taking it all to those levels of support that we all need when we come from guidance. So it's digging into, yes, it's honoring our fears, our doubts, and working through that as much as it is about, hey, what's the content for posting this week? You know, the realities of the business. So it is where soul meets strategy, because that's the practicalities of running a business are just important to us soulpreneurs, as is the soul and what we're bringing to our success with that. It's also about how important it is to balance the divine feminine with the divine masculine. So the stillness and the rest and the intuition with the direction, the action, the showing up and finding that balance, where, because true success actually comes from the balance of both of those. You know, when we're in our divine feminine, we create more awareness, but then we actually need the divine masculine to follow through with that action. It's all of understanding that, and that is business coaching. You are not really going to get anywhere else. So I guess I'm just sort of sharing the ins and outs, the good, the challenging, the stuff the spiritual space don't really say out loud, because that's the reality of it. And if the truth be known, it's taking me a really, really long time to get to this place, where I'm comfortable to talk about the journey, to talk about the personal side of my journey, and to talk about how it hasn't all been a bed of roses. It's not all, you know, um, peace, love, and moonbeams. There have been plenty of times where I've placed myself in the spiritual space, like at psychic fairs or whatever, and it's full of judgment. There have been plenty of times where on my knees with spirit, telling angels to F off because, oh, you're here for the umpteenth time how much um, healing you need. It was only even just last month that I heard from spirit one last time, you're a healer. And I know that I've heard it so much that in that moment, I'm like going, yeah, I know. You keep telling me. And I know that I'm not getting it. I know there's something I'm missing. So please, let's just take a breath and let's get it this one last time. And that in itself, there was a big shift. And as a result of that, Sacred and Sassy Soulpreneur has been born. Now, a little bit of background. This is not my first rodeo when it comes to publishing and publications. I did used to own inSpirit magazine probably about 15, 18 years ago, I think. We had a lot of fun back then. It was when I was running the Australian College of Mediumship as well. And the publication, we interviewed some of the who were our inspiration. The people that were like John Edward, Tony Stockwell, David Wells, John Holland, Sonia Choquette, people that Peggy McCall, people that were and still are inspirations for all of us. We had lots of fun with that magazine over the years. But if I'm truly honest with you, it did more to support the team and the writers to become confident writers than it grew in readership. And eventually it became a drag on my wallet and a drag on my soul. So I let it go. Over the years, though, Spirit has always been knocking on the door about it. I knew that I would come back to it, but every time they brought it up, I would resist because of the workload. I've become very conscious about the workload and return for investment, and I no longer follow those kind of ideas and inspirations with blind faith. I will question it. I will have my say because I'm in partnership with Spirit. And I really was, in a roundabout way, saying to them, hey, it needs to be the right set of circumstances. And I discovered Substack. And as soon as I did that, and I felt the peacefulness, surprised at that. I was really surprised at how calming Substack has been to my soul. I was finding other platforms more anxiety driven, so much noise, so much putting out content, not being seen. And it's just got over the years worse and worse and worse. And I guess that is something that we will get into in coming episodes, sharing with you what platforms do work and what I am finding works for me. But I was really surprised to find how much harmony there is in Substack. So if you're a writer like me, then jump on over. And if you already have a Substack, come and find me. We are Sacred Soulpreneur, Sacred and Sassy Soulpreneur. So come find us, come connect. And share in that way, because I guess one of the things that I think that we can do better in this space is collaboration and support for one another. In the spiritual space, there is still a lot of disharmony, and if you have stepped out into any psychic fair recently, you'll know that there is always a thread of competitive energy in the collective. There is always a sense of judgment, and that is difficult when really we really should be supporting one another. Yes, I am discerning with my support, because having learned in the past when I did have my college, that some types of energies don't work for me. They will only end um, in not very nice ways. So I do have some discerning choices that I make about who I collaborate with, and I think everyone should do that. What works for you, even um, recently, what networking groups that I've connected with, I've got to feel comfortable, and I think that that's okay. What people I might look to for mentoring in regards to business. I know over on the school app that there are lots of business coaches in growing your school and growing your business, and sometimes I find them completely overwhelming. And it's, for me, it's too much in the masculine, not enough in the feminine. It just overcomplicates everything. And these days I'm all about keeping it simple, hence another reason why I really love Substack. Um, so I guess what I'm sharing here is the fact that, you know, I'm just rocking up here to have a conversation with you and say, hey, this is what we're about at the Sacred and Sassy Soulpreneur. We are just about being who we are, showing up and sharing that journey in all of its truths and authenticity. And that does not mean that it's always the good stuff or how we get to the good stuff. It's the soulpreneur journey in its reality. And if that speaks to you, that I invite you to come join us, come say hi, be part of what we've got going on so that we can help support you with what you've got going on. Anyway, signing off until next time, and keep it real.